Welcome back to Old Folks Racing PlayStation. Welcome back to late coverage of the Grand Theft Championship. This is round 4 out of 5, race 2. We are at Monza. We all know how the championship ended and the year ended, but it's extremely interesting to see how it all developed in the last few races. Now, in this round, we had quite an interesting first race, won by Delphi Moura and Jorge Jesus in second place, and plenty of carnage behind, perhaps a little bit too much carnage. So let's see how this second race is going to go, as we are going to go through the starting grid. We have 12 drivers here today in this race, and Jorge Jesus is the man on pole. He finished second in race 1, followed by Delphi Moura, followed by Diogo Silva. So it's a Portuguese 1-2-3 here at Old Folks Racing PlayStation. Darren Head, the first non-Portuguese, in fourth place, followed by Scott Davely. Alongside Scott, it's Kev Allen, followed by Simon Allen, Peter Adrian in 8th, John Scott in 9th, Wayne Robinson in 10th place, 11th is David Emge, and closing the field it is Andrew Dalby. And actually we are going to follow him at the start to see if we can better see the carnage in the first chicane this way as they all go, and it's a good start by everyone. Andrew Dalby had a bit of a problem. It seems that so far there is no carnage, but of course we shall wait. And look at that, the Delphi Moura goes into the lead of the race, and this is, ooh, no, whoa, absolutely brilliant. Everyone just behaved themselves. Oh, Andrew Dalby ends up being the only one slightly pushed there off the track, but look at Delphi Moura's start. We are going to have a replay because, oh, look at Scott Davely up into fourth place as well. So let's see if we can catch that bit as well by following Scott. There you see Scott Davely side by side with Diogo Silva. No, sorry, this is Darren Head. No, Scott Davely up into third at one point as Diogo Silva goes on the inside. Darren Head is on the inside of the inside, and whoops, almost contact there, but Darren Head was very keen to go back at Scott, but has to settle for 5th place now. So let's continue following people in the chase camera, at least in this first lap, where we can see different things happening, as Darren Head is very defensive there by 7 hours. Oh, Darren Head almost, well, he outbraked himself, ends up losing a position to Simon Allen, potentially to Kev Allen as well. No, he did. Oh, and crash there, Darren Head and someone else, that's Simon Allen. Darren Head, this is a disaster for Darren, as, ooh, what happened here? Now, let's see this from the beginning, shall we? As Darren has dropped to 5th. Scott Davely is now braking for the second chicane. Darren Head under pressure from Simon Allen. He's being pushed by Simon Allen, in fact. Oh, and Darren then is going to let Scott through. Simon Allen also through. And, oh, Simon Allen just span into Darren. So Simon Allen seems... Simon Allen, not the start that he wanted either. But let's have a look at this from Simon's perspective, as he was perhaps a little bit pushy over here. He's trying to overtake Darren, but now they just connect. Darren cuts the chicane, hits Scott. Scott does not spin, recovers the position. Simon Allen also takes advantage of this to overtake Darren. And then, oh, he's hit Scott in the back and then spun, and Darren just got caught on it. So Simon Allen definitely a little bit too anxious in this race start. Amazingly, he did not fall to last. It's Wayne Robinson now battling for 11th place. They go side by side in the second Lesmo. Peter Adrian in 10th, Darren Head now 9th. 8th is Andrew Dalby from last on the grid. He is behind David Emge. David has had a good start as well. He is up into 7th from 11th place, but he's under pressure from Andrew Dalby now. as Andrew is putting a lot of pressure here after Ascari into the parabolic. They go, and Andrew on the outside. Will this work? They go side by side in the corner. It seems to me that it has worked. Andrew Dalby up into 7th place from last, and oh, contact between the two drivers. Let's go back to the race leader, but first let's see how this pans out. Andrew Dalby seems to me that he's ahead, so he should be ahead in the first chicane, but David Emke probably has other ideas. They go, and no further incident. As and something happened to Delphi Mora. Delphi Mora is and this is contact, potentially contact between the two leaders, which we have missed. Let's see, Delphi Mora. Was there contact? George Zeus seems very far behind. Oh, no contact. It's Delphi Mora. Oh, there was contact, but Delphi basically, well, nowhere to go for Delphi, for George Zeus. Sorry. So no blame there for Roger there, as Delphi just spun. He's going to twist to the right and twist to the left, and nowhere to go for George Zeus as they now just keep connecting, and Delphine trying to get back into the racing line. Diogo Silva up in 2nd place as Scott Davely up into 3rd. Delphine Mora down into 4th place. Cavallo maintains 5th. John Scott in 6th. 7th is Andrew Dalby. 8th, David Emke. We saw that those position swaps earlier. 9th is Darren Head. 10th, Peter Adrian. 11th is Simon Allen. 12th is Wayne Robinson. But we are going to go with Delphi Mora because he's had such a pace in race 1 that I would not be surprised if he recovers 2nd place at least quite quickly. We are on lap 2 out of 12. As look at that, Delphi Mora in the 2nd Lesmo, and he's already putting pressure on Scott Davely, and Scott is actually very much closer to Diogo Silva as well. So now we have a 3-way battle for 2nd place here. Diogo Silva already going defensive there on the descent down to Ascari. Now retakes the racing line. Scott Davely thought about making a move, got out of it, and now in the Ascari chicane, not a great overtaking point. Delphi Mora has to be a little bit patient here. Has to be patient. He probably has a slightly faster pace than Scott. He just needs to play. Something has happened to David Emke as well, as he's dropped down into last place. Everyone else up 1 place, and Peter Adrian lost the position to... Well, we're going to get a replay of that because I suspect that something interesting has happened here between Simon Allen, Peter Adrian, and potentially David Emke there as well. Yes, we have some action there, as David is... going to spin on his own and gets hit by Darren Head, and Peter Adrian also had a slightly unusual line there in the 2nd chicane as he was coming very quickly at that action, and almost looks like he forgot to brake as David spins. Darren hits him, and Peter also now trying to find a way. Ooh, look at that, those curbs are high, and Simon Allen gets the position there, and David Emke is back on the track. However, he has now lost quite a lot of time. Let's fast forward ourselves to a situation where, yeah, this is where we were, with Delphi Mora at the exit of Ascari on the 2nd lap, trying to get back into 3rd place. And look at that, at the parabolic there, nose to tail, and it seems to me that Delphi Mora is going to go for it in the first chicane. Look at this, Scott is already going defensive, but it seems to me that there is no way that he can resist the pressure. Delphi Mora is up into 3rd place, and he's coming for 2nd. Oh, Scott Davely brakes very late there, but Delphi Mora has the position, and the next target, it's Diogo Silva. Diogo Silva is the next target for 2nd place, as Delphi Mora is now trying to recover some ground after that spin earlier. Let's go trackside, shall we? And see what's happening with the race leader. That number 16 is Jorge Jesus, leads the race. And look at this, we have a four-way battle now, as Diogo Silva, Delphi Moura, Scott Davely and Kev Allen, and John Scott is actually not that far behind. John Scott has not been delayed by any incident. He's in 6th place, and of course these drivers tangling. Look at Diogo Silva, almost lost it there at the second Lesmo. Here comes Delphi Moura. It's a Portugal against Portugal battle, and Diogo Silva going defensive there at the Ascari. Delphi Moura goes for it on the inside, gets out of it, and Scott Davely is now under pressure from Kev Allen as well. It's good racing here at the front as they go through the Ascari without any incidents, and we have first, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth in the same shot. Andrew Dalby there at the back with his headlights on. He's under pressure from Darren Head. Darren trying to get back into this race after being delayed by that incident earlier on with Simon Allen. Simon Allen, by the way, is in 9th place. He overtook Wayne Robinson as well. So Simon also getting back to this race. Look at Delphi Moura now. Is trying to do to Diogo Silva the same thing that he did to Scott Davely in the previous lap, and this is for 2nd place, and it seems to me it's going to be a copycat, a carbon copy of the move, as Diogo Silva has to yield and is down into 3rd spot. Scott Davely in 4th place, Kev Allen in 5th, and then it's John Scott, Andrew Dalby. Let's have a look at that battle between Darren Head and Andrew Dalby, and Darren Head is on the outside now of Curva Grande, and it seems to me that he's going to go for it, but Andrew Dalby doesn't give him that much space. But Darren is going to be on the inside for the 2nd chicane, and it seems to me that he's going to get the job done, or no, Andrew Dalby just shuts the door on him, and Darren Head has to, for now, maintain his 8th position. Simon Allen is coming at him in 9th. Wayne Robinson completes the top 10, followed by Peter Adrian and David Emge, who of course had that spin and is currently delayed a little bit. He's 4 seconds away from Peter Adrian. Now let's have a look. Oh, what happened to Delphi Moura? He's shown in 5th place. Oh, the man that did not make any mistakes in race 1 has made another mistake. Yes, he has. This is how it happened in the first Lesmo. There's Jorge Jesus. There is, oh, and it just spins and, well, it does not technically spin. It just went off the road. He's going to lose quite a lot of positions. He loses Diogo's, well, loses 2nd place to Diogo, loses 3rd place to Scott, and loses 4th place to Kev. So it's back to square zero for Delphi Moura, and this 2nd race is quite different from what happened in the first. And he's off again. He's off again at the Ascari chicane. Is a bit anxious. He needs to recover ground, and now he starts to be under pressure from John Scott in 6th place. Darren Head is still behind Andrew Dalby. That's a good battle there. Let's go and focus on that one. As now Jorge Jesus actually, oh look at this, that's Darren Head on the inside of the parabolic, and that's job done for Darren. Job done for Darren, up into 7th place. That was a good clean move there by Darren Head. He did not have to wait for the start finish line for the first chicane to make the move. He's coming with more momentum, but the problem is now he's vulnerable to an attack by Andrew Dalby into the first chicane. Let's see how that goes, as Darren is going to try to protect, and Andrew Dalby might make a bit of a dive there. He does not. Let's go back to the race leader. Jorge Jesus is now 3.5 seconds ahead. This has interesting championship implications, as this puts Jorge Jesus right in the mix to win the championship. Look at this, that's Kev Allen there. Kev Allen putting an attack on Scott Davely. That's for a podium position. The number 2, Diogo Silva, is trying to keep 2nd place, but he's constantly under pressure from someone. It was Delphi Moura a while ago. Look at this drifting there through the corner. And look at that, absolutely brilliant racing here for 2nd place, as Kev Allen is right back into the mix for a podium position, and Delphi Moura is coming back into this mix as well. There's the leader, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And where's Darren Head? There he is. At the back we can see half of the field in the single screenshot. Look at Cavallo now getting very racy there with Scott Davely. Another lap will be complete. That's completion of lap 5. As we can see John Scott starting to be under pressure from Darren Head in the back. So it was not Darren in 6th place, sorry, it was John Scott. The livery is very similar. So Darren tried to go back into 6th place, but now this is the big battle here as Cavallo is going to put an attack surely on Scott Davely, and he goes for the inside there as Cavallo is almost got, oh, there's contact there between the 3 drivers. No, Diogo Silva is in the gravel. Scott Davely goes up into 2nd place, and Cavallo probably, well, Cavallo, what happened to him? He just forgot how to brake. He just basically locked up. He was trying to make a genuine attack on Scott Davely, but oh, drama here at the front, and there is him on the inside of Scott. Now he's trying to brake, but Diogo Silva actually sees him and tries to give room, but at the end of the day, that's probably Kev's fault here on this move, and Diogo Silva is back into the race ahead of Kev, but he's behind John Scott, and crucially he's also behind Darren Head. No, he's not. Darren Head, incredibly, has not gained any position with these shenanigans. He's still in 7th place, but he's now putting pressure on Cavallo, and this has reshaped the field somewhat. Scott Davely actually did a very good job there, and he is in 2nd place. He avoided most of the carnage, but he's now under severe pressure from Delphi Mora. Delphi is coming back at 2nd place, and oh, Scott Davely is off the road there, off the road, and it's going to be an easy pass for Delphi Mora. Scott under pressure made a mistake in the 2nd lap, but we are still, believe it or not, in the first half of this race, because we have not completed lap 6. Now normal service is resumed. George Jesus is in the lead. 2nd place man is Delphi Mora, but can he actually reduce the gap, or can he actually not make any more mistakes during the rest of this race? 3rd is Scott Davely. 4th is John Scott. John Scott is the biggest beneficiary of this collision between Cavallo and Diogo Silva, as he got from 6th to 4th, and he's not that far behind John Scott, so he still could be in contention for a podium. John Scott is in 4th, Diogo Silva in 5th, and Darren Head is up into 6th place. Darren Head is up into 6th place. He overtook Cavallo, and we'll get a replay of these two monsters of Allfox Racing PlayStation overtaking one another, as the Simon Allen also, by the way, is up into 8th place. Oh, this seems to me that it was Kev that made a mistake there. Potentially, yes, it was, as Kev goes into Lesmo 2, and look at that, not the ideal line there through the grass, and Kev, from potentially challenging for a podium position, finds himself now in 7th. Simon Allen, by the way, is overtaking there Andrew Dalby, so we have the Allens again together in 6th and 7th. Andrew Dalby down into 7th and 8th. Andrew Dalby, oh, and Simon Allen there. Simon Allen, what happened to Simon Allen? He's basically cut the chicane, did he? And this chicane is not a very cuttable chicane. No, he might have had some help. No, he haven't. He just runs wide, and now he's just flooring it, hoping that the car will not spin. And all sorts of action here, but now in a more moderate level. I think this is moderate enough. Look at that battle there behind. Who's that? That's Andrew Dalby. No, Andrew Dalby is in 9th place. That's Wayne Robinson trying to defend from Peter Adrian. Battle for 10th place. And there's David Demke at the back, as now John Scott in 4th, Diogo Silva in 5th, Darren Head in 7th, Cavallo in 8th, Simon Allen, so Cavallo is, well, no, Diogo Silva in 5th, 6th is Darren Head, 7th is Cavallo, 8th is Simon Allen, 9th is Andrew Dalby, and we continue to see a lot of cars in the same screenshot. As you can see now, it's Delphi Mora, Scott Davely, then it's John Scott, Diogo Silva, And let's look at the gap at the front. It's 5 seconds. Still 5 laps to go at the line, but it's a big ask for Delphi Moura to reduce this gap. Scott Davely trying to hang on into third. John Scott hanging on into fourth. Diogo Silva has been yo-yoing between second and is now in fifth. Still leading the points table after round 4 if it ends like this, but Jorge Jesus is going to be in a very good position if he wins this race. Darren Head still in the battle for the championship, and they're now together again, not battling for the lead, not battling for a podium, but battling for a 5th place. Darren Head in 6th, followed by Kev Allen, and Kev has lost a bit of momentum after that crash, and something has happened to Simon Allen which we have not seen, but he's lost 8th place again to Andrew Dalby, so he's back to square zero, but he's now trying to recover it yet again, and they almost touch, but Simon Allen in the parabolic completes the pass again, so it's back to basically 8th place. Oh, look at this. Darren Head is putting pressure on Diogo Silva. Darren Head is putting pressure on Diogo Silva, and this could have championship implications for the points table, as Diogo is not able at this stage to gain any ground to John Scott. In fact, quite the opposite. He's losing ground. 147.529 is Diogo's time last time round, and John Scott with a very good 146.602. He's faster than John Scott again. So faster than Scott Davely, sorry. So John Scott is closer to a podium position than being under pressure from the 2 championship leaders. Diogo Silva is trying to hang on to that 5th place. Look at that. There's more battles there behind as Simon Allen and Andrew Dalby have been battling, have been at it for the last few laps. Wayne Robinson was under pressure from Peter Adrian, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Peter also cutting the chicane there again with potentially brake or tire problems. We'll keep an eye on this battle, but let's go and check on the race leader and see how many drivers we can see on the straight leading to the parabolic. And that's Jorge Jesus, and that's how 5.3 seconds look like from Delphi Moura. Third is Scott Davely, fourth is John Scott, and 5th place, and this is the closest battle on the track. It's again the old mates Diogo Silva and Darren Head trying to maximize their points. Darren Head running very wide there at the parabolica, so probably is a bit of breathing space for Diogo Silva, but not quite. And Diogo really struggling with his tires and his pace at the moment as he continues to go defensive, as Darren not yet in a position to make a move. He's too far behind, and of course this is allowing the Allens to close in, as at number 69 the car from Kev Allen is in 7th place, followed by 8th place man Simon Allen. Again, not the round, not the race that Simon wanted. 8th place is not where he wants to be. He had a good race in race 1, but not the race that he wanted in race 2. Andrew Dalby is losing a bit of steam. He was very competitive in the first half of this race, but now dropped down to 9th, and he's 3 seconds behind Simon. He's still 4 seconds away ahead of Wayne Robinson, as 11th place man Peter Adrian could still have a bit of a say in terms of the top 10. Now back to these 3 contenders for 5th place, as look at the gap at the front continues to be stable. Last time round Jorge Jesus was the only driver to be on the 145s. He's got 3 laps to go, and it seems to me that he's running away with this race and potentially putting himself in a very good place for the championship, as the other contenders are down in 5th and 6th and battling with one another. John Scott doing a great job there into the parabolica in 4th place. Scott Davely also very solid race. Let's look at the lap times, and Diogo Silva's tires are not in their best condition. He's just drifting, sliding there through the parabolica, as look at the 2 leaders. 145.630 for leader Jorge Jesus, 145.498 Scott Davely is losing steam. He's done 147. He is not much slower than John Scott, just a couple of tenths on the last lap. It's a second, well, 1.5 seconds between the two drivers, so it's still not a drafting situation, as Scott is keeping Scott at bay and avoiding drafting, particularly on the main straight. John Scott will have to get closer to Scott Davely if he wants to have a chance of a podium. Look at this, Diogo Silva almost lost it there in the first Lesmo, and now surely this is a very good opportunity for Darren Head. And Diogo Silva is all over the place in the second Lesmo as well. Diogo Silva is all over the place. Darren Head has an opportunity here surely to get that 5th place. Diogo Silva is going defensive now into the Ascari chicane, goes back to the racing line. The question is, can Darren Head take advantage? And the answer is no, he cannot. Good battle there between the two drivers, but a couple of laps to go, and I can't see how Darren Head is not going to go ahead. There's Scott Davely, there's John Scott. There's still more than a second, separated by more than a second, as another lap will be completed now. If Darren can be clean through the parabolic, in which he can now, surely this is going to be game, set and match for Darren Head, as he is now in a drafting position. Diogo Silva has to choose which side is he going to defend, and he's going to go on the inside. Darren Head is absolutely glued to Diogo Silva now, is going to make the move, and Darren Head surely is going to go ahead here, or no. Diogo Silva tries to brake later, and he does. And we should keep an eye on Kev Allen as well. We are on lap 11. We do not have a lot of other close battles. Oh, something happened to Jorge Jesus. Something happened to Jorge Jesus. It's not terminal, but the gap is down to Darren Head now in the second chicane. And look at this, as expected, Kev Allen is now in the mix as well. Jorge Jesus has lost a lot of time. Diogo Silva all over the place into the first Lesmo, trying to defend that 5th place. Try to make that car as wide as possible, but his tires are absolutely gone, and now Kev Allen is absolutely part of this mix as well. So basically 3 cars just looked like one car, and guess what? The last lap is about to come now. I was saying that Jorge Jesus lost a lot of time. Here comes Kev Allen on Darren Head. Kev Allen wants a piece of this action as well. Kev Allen wants a piece of this action. Darren Head goes on the inside. Darren Head is on the inside of Ascari. This is not going to end well, as Diogo Silva takes the line. Darren gives him room. This is excellent racing here, as last lap is about to start. Jorge Jesus has lost time. He still has 3.4 seconds, so he should be safe. Second is Delphi Moura. Third is Scott Davely. Fourth is John Scott. The question is for 5th place. It's not over. Darren again through the parabolic, and now he's even closer than in the last lap, as Kev Allen tries to a different line there as well. Now this is the start of the last lap. Diogo Silva goes defensive there on the inside. Last lap for the lead, and Diogo Silva now is choosing the outside, and Darren Head is on the inside, and now Darren Head is going to be ahead. Darren Head is going to be ahead. Kev Allen is also going to go through. No, Diogo Silva lost at the position, as it seemed inevitable, and now it seems also inevitable to me that Kev Allen is going to go for it there. And Diogo Silva just dropping down the order at this late stage of the race. Let's go back and see. Well, look at Jorge Jesus is managing the gap. Still 3 seconds, as is in the second Lesmo, and we can now see the 2 drivers in the same shot, but it seems to me that's a bit of a tall order for Delphi Moura to win 2 out of 2 here at Monza. It's surely going to be Jorge Jesus that is going to win the race. We'll keep an eye on Diogo Silva, Kev Allen, other battles as well, as we have a battle for 10th place as well between Wayne Robinson and Peter Adrian. But it's only a couple more corners for Jorge Jesus. In fact, it's one more corner. Parabolica. And 1-2 in the first race becomes 2-1 in the second race. Jorge Jesus is going to win the second race of round 4 here at Monza. and definitely a contender for the championship. Delphi Mora, second place. Third, a podium for Scott Davely after a very good, solid race. Fourth is going to be John Scott. Fifth is going to be Darren Head. And look at this, it's a bit of a photo finish for sixth place, but Diogo Silva is finishing ahead of Kev Allen with Simon Allen in eighth place. Ninth is Andrew Dalby. 10th is going to be Wayne Robinson completing the top 10 of this race. 11th is going to be Peter Adrian in that number 33. And 12th is going to be David Emge. And we'll follow the last few corners with that number 19 car. 12 drivers have started the race, 12 drivers have finished the race. It's all to be decided in the last round at Fuji in Japan, round 5, as we see now the last few corners for David Emge, and that's going to be bye-bye from us, from coverage of round 4, of course, always here in the Labareda channel. We hope you enjoyed the race. It is now bye-bye.